Welcome to my video, and if this is your first time on my channel, welcome again. Make sure you show some support. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing about how your journey is not over. Keep pushing. So when it comes to mentally, when we talk about the journey that we're on and that it's not over and why we should keep pushing, is because regardless of what you go through or deal with when it comes to mentally, let's say any mental challenges, any mental obstacles, any sort of mental stress, any sort of mental insecurity, any sort of mental fear, any sort of mental flaw, whatever that may be that you're dealing with when it comes to your mental state of being, realizing that your journey is not over, keep pushing. You will get through it by, whether that means you need to apply yourself mentally and continuously think about what you're going through and how you're going to apply what you're going through, or whether it's something where you need to not think about it as much and let it come to you as experiencing it in a more open space when it comes to all states of beings, like physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So realizing that, okay, mentally I do have to, in order to keep pushing, I need to apply my mental state of being in a way where I'm not allowing this, to affect me when it comes to mentally. I'm being that mentally strong version of myself. So basically having a strong mental state of being versus a weak or vulnerable state of being when it comes to mentally, and that's not like it's a bad thing. I'm not judging or anything. I'm just saying, if you do have a weak or vulnerable state of being when it comes to mentally, then being aware of it is your first step to, doing better. And once you're aware of that, you know now how to go about changing that behavior or changing that mentality that you are stuck to, whether it be, a constant repetition, reoccurring struggle that you go through mentally. Don't let it affect you. Don't let it stop you in your tracks. Just keep pushing forward. Your journey is not over. Regardless of what happens, regardless of if the situation's trying to get into your head, or people are trying to get into your head, or you so perceive it this way, or the circumstance is bothering you, or mentally you feel as if you can't deal with it, let's push forward. Let's not allow that to hold us back. Let's not allow that to cause us to stop on our journey. And let's realize that we have to go through things, whether it's uncomfortable or whether it's something that, breezes right by because, it's part of your journey and it's something that's meant for you. But when you don't go through any opposition or any challenges or whatever, then maybe you will not see how it is that you deserve to be in the position that you're in. And especially when it comes to your mental state of being, achieving that, mentally stable state of being when it comes to that can be difficult, right? Or there can be times where it's easy to stay consistent and stay stable when it comes to the mind. There's other times where we're constantly challenged when it comes to mentally, constantly having thoughts or, reoccurring patterns when it comes to mentally that we can't get over or that seem to be bothering us. Well, let me tell you this, those things that you're dealing with when it comes to mentally are going to actually, build you into having a stronger mentality when it comes to that. It's going to build your mental space and your mental ability to really exist when it comes to your balance when you get through those hard challenges. And when you are going through those hard challenges, you're going to be learning things that when it comes to mentally applying yourself to other things, you can look at it and say, okay, I learned this. Let me make sure I remind myself I can be in this state mentally and I can continue on my path and realize that this isn't going to stop my journey and I just need to keep pushing. So continue on that path when it comes to mentally, continue on growing when it comes to your mental state of being and achieving that stable mind that we have the possibility to be in and to experience. If you're enjoying the video so far, go ahead, show some support. I know I'm enjoying this so far. I'm glad that you could be here to experience this as well. And when it comes to our journey that we're on in life, embracing that journey over, attaching to any of the difficult times that we experience that might be challenging, and the opposition that you experience, a lot of times that's what's needed in order to get into that new space that you need to be in when it comes to mentally. The new space you need to be in when it comes to emotionally, spiritually, or physically. Or that new space that you need to be in that is just right for you and your surroundings and what you have going on in your life, and what space is most beneficial towards that and reaching that space. So physically, don't allow anything to stop you in your path. You are on a journey and it's not over. Keep pushing. Regardless of what you see in that physical state of being, regardless of if you feel you are working as strong as you possibly can, you can always work stronger than that, and you can always work harder than that, and also not only harder, but smarter, more intellectual, using more intellect with your physical state of being. Who said you can't, use the mental state of being and in a way where you are more fluently in control of your physical state of being, because the mind is what has control over the body. So regardless of what's happening physically, and let's say you feel, oh, I have no control over this physically, I'm physically getting beaten down all the time, I'm physically getting put into situations that are difficult for me, or are challenging for me, or are not the right space when it comes to being in that space physically. Well, you're not going to let that stop you, are you? I know when I face adversity, when it comes to anything I experience physically, I do not stop or let that stop me in my path. I allow it to motivate me to push forward and to realize that that's not going to stop me on my journey. That's not going to get in my way. Nothing can stop me and nothing can get in my way, as long as if I am continuing on being that best version of myself. And if you are continuing on being that best version of yourself, then physically you can overcome these challenges and get to that space, like I said, that we need to be in, or overcoming the physical obstacles, challenges, whatever it may be. And overcoming that is going to definitely make your existence, when it comes to the physical, the life that we are in, you're going to be more, let's say, at ease, or more in tune with you're not just in life, you are life. So connecting with that and being not overcompensated or over let's say built in one of your states of beings where you are, let's say, you're all stuck in your head mentally. Don't allow it to get you into that space. You're all stuck physically. You're experiencing addictive patterns that you can't break out of, or that you're not strong enough to have that power over. Whether it be emotionally, you feel as if, oh, I keep experiencing these emotions, I'm running away and constantly running away, fleeing from these emotions, then don't let it get to you into that space. And even if it has you in that space, realizing that that's not going to stop me on my path. That's not going to be something that has the power over me. And then spiritually, having faith in your own spiritual abilities to achieve whatever it is that you need to achieve on the path that you are in. I know I'm talking decently fast, which I think that's why I'm out of breath. But anyways, like I said, that's not going to be something that is going to stop me on my path. I'm going to keep pushing because that's what I'm here to do. And let's talk about, why is it important to keep pushing? Keep pushing to take care of your physical state of being, because that's what we are, using to experience the life that we experience now. And it is apparent that, let's say you're working out or you are trying to make the right decisions when it comes to what foods you consume. Realize that this is always a journey towards making the right choices for ourselves. So like what I said, even if you can't find that motivation to work out, lift those weights, push as hard as you can, keep pushing. I know, like, when I have times where I don't go to the gym as consistent and then I do get back into the gym consistent, there's always that, let's say, that willingness to keep consistent at it the more that you go. And it's just, that's what it's about. Keep pushing. You're not going to allow, missing the gym one day in a row because you were busy, or 2 days in a row because you were busy, but you had to do what you had to do. So it's being aware of that physically and saying, all right, I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm not going to beat up myself. But what I am going to do is continue to keep pushing physically. So even if you're trying to, get through that workout, whatever it is, make the right decisions, deal with something that you're going with physically, whether it be related to health or fitness, whatever it may be. Don't allow that to stop you on your journey, regardless of what it may be, and keep pushing. Emotionally, we are on a path, and you should not let anything stop you when it comes to how you feel, and you should keep pushing forward. Don't allow, just because, you have been experiencing a pattern of emotional vibrations that are just not, let's say, comfortable for you. They cause you anxiety, they cause you to experience fear. Whatever those feelings are, and you're like, okay, I've been experiencing this a lot. What can I do in order to deal with these issues at the root cause? What can I do how are my actions going to now put me in a different space when it comes to my emotional space? So, yeah, being aware of that, okay, I've been experiencing these emotions, but I'm not going to allow this emotional state that I'm in right now to have absolute control over my mentality, have absolute control over my actions physically, or what I believe in myself, even when it comes to spiritually, and having that belief and faith in yourself. So don't allow it to have you doubting any of that, but have it push you into a space, and keep pushing into that space of, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to get to that space when it comes to emotionally, where I'm able to let's say, collect or reap what I have been through. Because you're not going to be sitting there like, I'm hopeless, I can't do anything about the situation that I'm in, or things are never going to change when it comes to emotionally or how I feel about this. And rather embrace that feeling and allow it to push you forward. Use it as motivation. Be like, the fact that I'm even experiencing this emotion again, it's happening, it's a reality. Guess what? Not going to allow it to affect me when it comes to mentally. Not going to allow it to affect me when it comes to physically, or affect me when it comes to spiritually. So, it's pretty clear that we are on a journey and that we cannot stop regardless of what we go through. we have to keep pushing forward. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of what you think, regardless of the spiritual state of being that you're in, or if you feel as if you have no power spiritually, start now and to take back that power and keep pushing forward, and you will get to that space that you need to be in. And yeah, so that's basically it. Rather be strong in the time when you're experiencing that, when it comes to emotionally being in that state of being, and not allow it to affect you, and let it to rather use it in a way to push you towards getting to that emotional stability, or just where you feel, emotionally balanced, or whatever that may be. You are always going to know what's right for you based upon how you feel, and if you're trusting your intuition or not. So yeah, and when it comes spiritually, the journey that you're on is more important than anything that that anyone necessarily knows, or that you could ever understand, because your effect that you have on the world that you're in, when it comes to the spiritual world, and how you play a role, and how you actually are, and not play a role where, oh, this is something that's forced. It's rather playing a role where you have something, you're a part of something that is for the benefit of the spiritual world. It's for the benefit of growth. It's for the benefit of expansion when it comes to spiritually, and thus through that process we can all be in a different space when it comes to physically experience a maybe more balanced mental space, when there's not so much different people's mentalities going up against different people's mentalities, just because of how the masses feel when it comes to emotionally, or how maybe what people are thinking about all the time is now affecting the mass of people when it comes to emotionally. We're going to be able to shy away from that and be more in tune when it comes to let's value and continue pushing forward on our journeys towards our spiritual expansion, and thus we can change the world that we are in when it comes to, let's say, in a way where it's most beneficial to each being, each part of the existence. Therefore, we all continue to grow, we all continue to expand, and finding that, let's say, path, or staying on that path, the path that I've been talking about, or let's say the journey I've been talking about, your path is not over. Your path doesn't end here. Your journey is not over. Keep pushing. It's about, okay, maybe you don't know what you value, or what your path is per se when it comes to spiritually, but start to figure out what you want to be. What do you actually want to do when it comes to your spiritual workings and your spiritual energies? What can you attribute to this world as far as when it comes to spiritually? Not just, mentally or physically or emotionally, but what can you do, and what can you actually attribute and give to this world spiritually? And how can we all exist spiritually in a space, in a spiritual plane of existence that is most beneficial to all of us? So keep pushing forward, right? Like I said, if you feel like you're down, you feel as if you are not in the right state of mind mentally, or you feel as if emotionally you've just been experiencing something that you can't necessarily explain, or you have to just get through, you have to be able to know, okay, this is something that just feels, it's just something that I'm gonna have to deal with, because regardless of that, you're gonna experience you know, the emotions of things in life. And it's about how you deal with it. And so, but yeah, like I said, know regardless that, okay, I am spiritually protected. I am staying on this path that I call life, because at the end of the day, we are all in life and we're experiencing life, and we are spirits and bodies experiencing life, and being aware of this, and then realizing that, okay, no matter what I'm going through, I'm going to continue on this path mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and I'm going to keep pushing.